a class of clarified butter that originated in ancient India. It's commonly used in cuisine of the Indian subcontinent and Middle Eastern cuisine, as well as traditional medicines and religious rituals. Ghee has so many health benefits. It stimulates your digestive system, helping with elimination and the breakdown of foods. It also helps you to absorb the nutrients better. It's a great source of good fatty acids and is wonderful for conditions like leaky gut, and irritable bowel, and Crohn's disease. It can lubricate the body. You can use it straight on your skin like a moisturizer. It has so many anti-inflammatory properties. It's great for the eyes, especially mixed with honey, and it's a wonderful carrier for all your medicinal herbs. So let's get
Okay, what you will need to make almost a quart of ghee. I like to use a wide mouth jar, so you'll need a wide mouth jar. This is actually my favorite jar to put ghee in because it's easy for me to reach down to the bottom with my hand, but I only have one of these jars, so we're going to use this jar. You'll also need 2 pounds of butter. Traditionally, you're to use unsalted butter, but I use salted butter. And there's a reason I use salted butter, which we'll get into later. And you need a stove top safe cooking pot. I say that because this is what I use, and there's a reason I use that. When we go to separate the impurities out of the butter, the white dish, and it is stovetop safe, makes it real easy to see the impurities that will separate from the oil. But you can just use a regular old pot as well. So the first thing you're going to do is unwrap all your butters and put them in your pot. Now, sometimes I only do a pound at a time, but this time I think I'm going to try to go ahead and just do both the 2 pounds all at once. Alright, then we are going to turn our stovetop to low. The whole thing about ghee is low and slow. So we want it high enough to melt the butter, but we want it to melt slowly. So we're getting real close to everything being melted, but just continue until everything is completely melted. Alright, now that everything is completely melted, or at least for the most part, I'm going to turn my stove up. Now I'm turning mine to just like a 2. What I'm trying to do is get it to just starting to boil, okay? Not too much. I don't want to scorch it, but I do want it to be boiling. So that's what we're looking for right now. Okay, we got it going on. Now, it's going a little fast, so I'm going to go ahead and go back down to about a 1. You don't want it to start plopping. We're going to start, we've got a really fine mesh strainer here, and what I'm going to do is just start lightly scooping off the foam from the top of the ghee. because this is the initial milk solids. And sometimes, actually, it might be better just to use a spoon. I'm going to get a metal spoon, actually. Okay, we're plopping, so I'm too hot, so we're going to go down. We're going to go down. There we go. That's much better. We're just going to lightly... You never want to scrape the bottom. You want to just lightly skim the top of all of that. Alright, we're going to let that sit, and what will happen is it'll gather back up again, and we'll come scoop it more. Just to take a closer look, as you see the bubbling, you see those big white blobs that are bubbling up as it simmers. That is the milk fat, and that will continue bubbling and cooking, and it will gather on the top. That is what you are skimming out of your ghee. That's all your milk solids separating from the oil. Woo, that was a good one. That was a good one. So we're going to turn it down more. That's what happens. That's what happens. So watch that. If it does that to you, turn it down. Turn it down. This is simmering perfectly. It's getting close to being done. But we're going to want to let it sit and simmer until we start seeing brown things, brown bits and pieces at the bottom of the pot, which is why I like to use the white pot, because I can really see that color change. Now, some people continue cooking it for quite a while after that, and it will give it a more nutty flavor. I don't necessarily do that. But that's why I like to use the white pot, because once that color change starts happening, I can clearly see it, and I know I am done. Anyway, we're getting close. All right, it is pretty much done. We're going to continue to skim just as much of the stuff off the top as we can. And I am going to try to get a close-up in here for you to see if you can see those bits. See those bits there at the bottom? You can barely see them. The little dark bits at the bottom. Oh, here we go. Here we go. There we go. That's what you're looking for. Now, a lot of people will continue to cook this until those bits get darker and darker. And what that will do is give it a real nutty flavor. And that's fine. I personally do not do that. I just will pretty much quit right now is what I'll do. So I will turn this off, and we're going to let this cool down just a little bit. And after it quits moving around, we'll jar it up. Alright, now you see we've got all of our milk solids are in this bowl. Okay, and we have our jar ready to put our ghee in. I'm going to just prop this like that so it'll stay. And what we're going to do is carefully pour our ghee into the jar, being careful not to get all those little brown nuggets there on the bottom. We don't want those. I think it might be better to pour it this way. Get a couple of rags here. Alright, now you can really see those little toasted milk fats at the bottom. And look at that. Look at that crystal clear ghee. Now this, we'll just we're done. I'll cap it, put it up on the shelf, save it till this is done, and then start using that. But this, I do not throw this away. Now, if you use salted butter like I do, this stuff here is super salty, okay? But it's great on popcorn. Now, if you don't use salted butter, it's still usable. Just keep it, use it for butter. I'm going to pour it down in here. And what I'm going to do is, as it's cooling, I'm going to shake it and keep it mixed. And I will use this, and we'll just shake it ever so often. Keep it mixed up till it cools. Try not to drop it. And yeah, perfect on popcorn. So anyway, is how you make ghee.